Good morning, scholars. You've made it to lesson 18 of Bud Not Buddy. The materials that you will need today are something to take notes with and your book. The book chapters that we are reading today can be found with this assignment. All right, let's start right on our Do Now. Our Do Now has an excerpt, and I'd like you to pause the video to read that. Pause it now. All right, so we brought up that new word scuffling, and I just want to clarify here, scuffling is when you are a struggling musician, when you are not hired by a well-known person. When you're hired and you're getting paid and you're making all that money and being famous with that well-known person, you're no longer scuffling. Okay, we're going to go on to this first question. What might it mean for the thug if Mr. C changes drummers? What does that mean? They change drummers if suddenly it's not the thug, it's a different drummer. What does that mean for thug? I want you to write that in that one. Pause the video to answer this question now. All right, moving on to the next question. On page 157, the thug told Bud, "You ain't the only one trying to get on Mr. C's good side. This is the best drumming gig, a gig is work as a musician, in the state, and I need to hang on to it as long as I can." Why might the Dusky Devastators want to stay on Mr. C's good side? What happens when you're not hired by a well-known musician? Look back at that excerpt if you need to. We are going to move on to vocab. Our vocab words today, we have two of them. The first one, you know how this goes. I say it, you say it. Practical. Practical. All right, that definition is relating to action rather than ideas. Or it could also mean reasonable and logical. To kind of make sure that we know what that means, I'd like you to answer, would you expect a naive person to be practical? Why or why not? If someone who's naive lacks experience, does that necessarily mean that they're not practical? I want you to answer that question now. Pause the video. And our second vocab word is rummage. Rummage? Rummage? All right, that definition is to search through disorganized materials by tossing things out of the way. So it's not the same as fumble. This one is to go through disorganized materials. While you can fumble while you're rummaging, they're two different things. To make sure we know what that word means, we're going to answer this question. Would it provoke your sister for you to rummage around in her closet? Why or why not? I have that question on, it's our last question for this section. Pause the video and answer that question. Now that you're done with this section, move on to the next cycle.